John, an old YouTuber. This camcorder have been charging the whole night, but still have some power on this 10 years old Canon. But it's just another grey day in Denmark. Grey and cold day, and can be like that next many weeks. But I pay all my bills December. I think it's number 4 December, and I pay all my bills, my rent apartment, and my $1,000 to my debt. And I have 108 liters colas up there, cheap discount cola. So let's read some more PDF. I have downloaded a fresh copy of Windows 98 and the other Microsoft operating systems OS. So I just downloaded it yesterday. So let's try to read, but that will take a few days. That's 18 pages, Windows 98, and this one is 13 pages, and this is 13. We can maybe do this 3 today, but Windows XP is 35 pages. We can maybe get started today, but Windows Vista is 40. So, but let's do the Windows 98. I remember I do that, and I was adult. I was 32 years old, but I did not have my own PC computers in the 90s because I did not have any work, and I was on welfare check, and I have a low income, and I was drinking a lot of beers and smoking a lot of cigarettes. So I did not have $2,000 for Intel 486. But we were back then in the 90s. We had these gamer computers, the Intel 486 DX2. But that was very expensive. It cost like $2,000. Just a super primitive gamer. So I never get that because I did not have any money back then. And I was age, I don't know how much, I was age 35, 34 before I got my own first PC computer, a Dell. But maybe I had Windows 98, could be. I got it in year 2001, but the Windows ME was out. Yes, but I need a minute to do myself ready. I have to go back to my bed. So I do this because I like to read about it myself. I'm not reading PDF. I don't like to read. But sometimes I have to do it because it's logical. Like now we have all the Microsoft Windows. That would be logical to read about the company Microsoft, but I think I already did that. But I think we should read it again when I'm finished with Windows 8. We should read the Microsoft. Yes, the Microsoft Corporation. But let's read loud, read to end of documents.
Windows 98. Windows 98 version of the Windows 9X operating system. Microsoft Windows 98 logo with wordmark.svg. Windows 98.png. Screenshot of Windows 98. Displaying its desktop, taskbar and channel bar. Developer Microsoft source model closed source released to manufacturing May 15, 1998. General availability June 25, 1998. Final release second edition 4.10.2222 May the 5th, 1999. 1. Platforms IA32 kernel type monolithic kernel. DOS, license commercial software preceded by Windows 95, 1995, succeeded by Windows Me, 2000, official website Windows 98 at the Wayback Machine, archived October 12, 1999, support status mainstream support ended on the 30th of June, 2002, 2. Windows 98 is a consumer-oriented operating system developed by Microsoft as part of its Windows 9X family of Microsoft Windows operating systems. The second operating system in the 9X line is the successor to Windows 95, and was released to manufacturing on May 15, 1998, and generally to retail on the 25th of June, 1998. Like its predecessor, it is a hybrid 16-bit and 32-bit, 3, monolithic product with the boot stage based on MS-DOS. 4. Windows 98 is a web-integrated operating system that bears numerous similarities to its predecessor. Most of its improvements were cosmetic or designed to improve the user experience, but there were also a handful of features introduced to enhance system functionality and capabilities, including improved USB support and accessibility, as well as support for hardware advancements such as DVD players. Windows 98 was first edition of Windows to adopt the Windows driver model, and introduced features that would become standard in future generations of Windows such as disk cleanup, Windows Update, multi-monitor support, and internet connection sharing. Microsoft had marketed Windows 98 as a tune-up to Windows 95, rather than an entirely improved next generation of Windows. Upon release, it was generally well received for its web-integrated interface and ease of use, as well as its addressing of issues present in Windows 95, although some pointed out that it was not significantly more stable than its predecessor. Windows 98 sold an estimated 58 million licenses and saw one major update, known as Windows 98 Second Edition, SE, released on the 5th of May, 1999. After the release of its successor, Windows Me in 2000, mainstream support for Windows 98 and 98 SE ended on the 30th of June, 2002, followed by extended support on the 11th of July, 2006. Contents. Development. New and updated features, web integration and shell enhancements. Improvements to hardware support. Extended support ended on the 11th of July, 2006, 2. Windows driver model. Other device support improvements. Networking enhancements. Improvements to the system and built-in utilities, performance improvements. Other system tools, accessories. Miscellaneous improvements. Windows 98 Second Edition removed features. Upgradability. System requirements, limitations. Support life cycle. Reception, sales. References. Further reading. External links. Development. Following the success of Windows 95, the development of Windows 98 began, initially under the development codename Memphis. The first test version, Windows Memphis Developer Release, was released in January 1997. 5. Memphis first entered beta as Windows Memphis Beta 1, released on the 30th of June, 1997. 6. It was followed by Windows 98 Beta 2, which dropped the Memphis name and was released in July. 7. Microsoft had planned a full release of Windows 98 for the first quarter of 1998, along with a Windows 98 upgrade pack for Windows 95, but it also had a similar upgrade for Windows 3.x operating systems planned for the second quarter. Stacey Brayford, a product manager for Microsoft, explained that the later release of the upgrade for Windows 3 was because the upgrade required more testing than that for Windows 95 due to the presence of more compatibility issues, and without user objections. Microsoft merged the two upgrade packs into one and set all of their release dates to the second quarter. 8. On the 15th of December, Microsoft released Windows 98 Beta 3. It was the first build to be able to upgrade from Windows 3.1x, and introduced new startup and shutdown sounds. 9. Near its completion, Windows 98 was released as Windows 98 Release Candidate on April 3, 1998, 10, which expired on the 31st of December. This coincided with a notable press demonstration at Comdex Dartmouth. Microsoft CEO Bill Gates was highlighting the operating system's ease of use and enhanced support for plug-and-play (PNP). However, when presentation assistant Chris Capozilla plugged a USB scanner in, the operating system crashed, displaying a blue screen of death. Bill Gates remarked after derisive applause and cheering from the audience, "That must be why we're not shipping Windows 98 yet." Video footage of this event became a popular internet phenomenon. 11. Microsoft had quietly marketed the operating system as a tune-up to Windows 95.12. It was compiled as Windows 98 on the 11th of May, 1998, 13, before being fully released to manufacturing on May 15.14. The company was facing pending legal action for allowing free downloads of, and planning to ship Windows licenses with, Internet Explorer 4.0 in an alleged effort to expand its software monopoly. Microsoft's critics believed the lawsuit would further delay Windows 98's public release. Winking sad smiley 12. It did not, and the operating system was released on the 25th of June, 1998. 14. A second major version of the operating system called Windows 98 Second Edition was later unveiled in March 1999. 15. 16. Microsoft compiled the final build on the 23rd of April, 1999, before publicly releasing it on May 5, 1999. 13. 17. Windows 98 was to be the final product in the Windows 9X line until Microsoft briefly revived the line to release Windows Me in 2000 as the final Windows 9X product before the introduction of Windows XP in 2001, which was based on the Windows NT architecture and kernel used in Windows 2000. 18. New and updated features. Web integration and shell enhancements. The first release of Windows 98 included Internet Explorer 4.01. This was updated to 5.0 in the second edition. Besides Internet Explorer, many other Internet companion applications are included, such as Outlook Express, 19, Windows Address Book, Front Page Express, 20, Microsoft Chat, Personal Web Server and a Web Publishing Wizard, and NetShow. 21. NetMeeting allows multiple users to hold conference calls and work with each other on a document. 22. The Windows 98 shell is web integrated. Winking sad smiley 23. It contains desk bands, active desktop, channels. 24. Ability to minimize foreground windows by clicking their button on the taskbar. 25. Single-click launching, back and forward navigation buttons. 26. Favorites, and address bar in Windows Explorer, image thumbnails. 27. Folder info tips and web view in folders, and folder customization through HTML-based templates. The taskbar supports customizable toolbars designed to speed up access to the web or the user's desktop. These toolbars include an address bar and quick launch. With the address bar, the user accesses the web by typing in a URL, and Quick Launch contains shortcuts or buttons that perform system functions such as switching between Windows and the desktop with the Show Desktop button. 28. Another feature of this new shell is that dialog boxes show up in the Alt-Tab sequence. Windows 98 also integrates shell enhancements, themes and other features from Microsoft Plus for Windows 95 such as Drive Space 3, Compression Agent, Dial-Up Networking Server, Dial-Up Scripting Tool and Task Scheduler. 3D Pinball Space Cadet is included on the CD-ROM, but not installed by default. Windows 98 had its own separately purchasable Plus pack, called Plus 98.29. Title bars of Windows and dialog boxes support two-color gradients, a feature ported from and refined from Microsoft Office 95.26. Windows menus and tooltips support slide animation. Windows Explorer in Windows 98, as in Windows 95, converts all uppercase file names to sentence case for readability purposes. Winking sad smiley 30. However, it also provides an option allow all uppercase names to display them in their original case. Windows Explorer includes support for compressed cap files. 31. The Quick Res and Telephony Location Manager. Windows 95 Power Toys are integrated into the core operating system. Improvements to hardware support. Windows Driver Model. The Windows 98 architecture is set up as a tier of layers in which the higher layers depend on any component of the layers below them. The difference between the architectures of this and Windows 95 is that the Windows driver model can be used to access the Windows 98 core and the registry. 32. 33. Windows 98 was the first operating system to use the Windows driver model, WDM. This fact was not well publicized when Windows 98 was released, and most hardware producers continued to develop drivers for the older VXD driver standard, which Windows 98 supported for compatibility's sake. The WDM standard only achieved widespread adoption years later, mostly through Windows 2000 and Windows XP, as they were not compatible with the older VXD standard. 34. With the Windows driver model, developers could write drivers that were compatible with other versions of Windows. 35. Device driver access in WDM is implemented through a VXD device driver, kern.vxd, which implements several Windows NT-specific kernel support functions. 36. Support for WDM audio enables digital mixing, routing, and processing of simultaneous audio streams and kernel streaming with high-quality sample rate conversion on Windows 98. WDM Audio allows for software emulation of legacy hardware to support MS-DOS games, direct sound support and MIDI wavetable synthesis. The Windows 95 11 device limitation for MIDI devices is eliminated. 37. A Microsoft GS wavetable synthesizer licensed from Roland shipped with Windows 98 for WDM audio drivers. Windows 98 supports digital playback of audio CDS, and the second edition improves WDM audio support with indirect sound hardware mixing and direct sound 3D hardware abstraction, direct music kernel support, K-Mixer sample rate conversion for capture streams and multi-channel audio support. All audio is sampled by the kernel mixer to a fixed sampling rate, which may result in some audio getting upsampled or downsampled and having a high latency, except when using kernel streaming or third-party audio paths like ASIO, which allow unmixed audio streams and lower latency. Windows 98 also includes a WDM streaming class driver, Stream.System, to address real-time multimedia data stream processing requirements and a WDM kernel mode video transport for enhanced video playback and capture. Windows driver model also includes broadcast driver architecture, the backbone for TV technology support in Windows. Web TV for Windows utilized BDA to allow viewing television on the computer if a compatible TV tuner card is installed. TV listings could be updated from the internet, and wave-top data broadcasting allowed extra data about broadcasts to be received via regular television signals using an antenna or cable, by embedding data streams